Yo, and welcome back to Tales of Arc. And if you're enjoying the video, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. But anyways, back to some Mabinogi Elemental Knights as we continue learning about Arcana or Arcana. So Layer over here has been explaining it to us. So a lot of long-winded dialogue, but he's explaining like the ins and outs about it, like how it is with the lore. So basically, he created a formula to safely combine two talents together to use them safely. But it's all a theory, a hypothesis. So he wants us to try it out to see, and he's negotiating with the queen so he can establish it and hopefully get funding to create this whole Arcana sector, whatever. Actually, it may be the best to hold this demonstration outside, somewhere with enough space. Your Majesty, I ask that you place your trust in me and in the power of Arcana. Let's head to the suitable location. That includes you as well, Malaysian. Yes. Did you understand any of that, Ursula? I have no idea what he's been going on about. I'm not entirely certain of what to expect from this, but it can't hurt to observe this demonstration. Shall we be off? You ended your conversation with Arrowin. Oh, he's just... Okay, we read that. If you're ready, let's begin. I am ready. Thank you for joining me so promptly, Ursula. Was kind enough to supply the wooden Of course I was. We'll be using the demonstration for the demonstration. Now, if no one has any objection, I'd like to begin. This is actually the first time I tried to guide someone how to use Arcana. And Arcanum, or Arcana. And I'm not quite certain of the best way to explain this. Arcanas themselves are formless, but have a shape that exists as an idea. They possess something of a soul, also engrave themselves upon the souls of their bearers as they are used. First, can you recall the Arcana I showed you in focus? That itself may elicit some sort of response. You don't need to overdo it, Ursula. Just concentrate. As you recall the underlying principle of Arcana, you feel the outline of the crest you saw being etched into your soul. It would be best to focus first. Concentrate on the form of the crest you were shown earlier. Focus. You focused but felt no response. Do you really not feel anything, Ursula? You're fully prepared, so there should be some sort of change. You seem rather tense. Relax. There's no need for that. Just take it slow. Ursula, recall the Arcana once more. And focus. Remember how you used close combat and magic skill? Then think of those energies coursing together and intermingling. Each Arcana channels two different types of power. As you focus, recall your body's memory of performing the windmill technique and your mind memories of casting Ice Bolt. Focus again. Fail? Yeah, it's like the rule of 3. Perhaps your recollection wasn't vivid enough. You felt no response. Layer, is there something lacking? If even Ursula is having trouble getting this to work, how can one expect the average citizen to make use of Arcana? It's too early to get impatient, Ursula, can you use the skill directly? I mean, without invoking Arcana? Since this is your first time to use Arcana, you may be having a hard time knowing the approach of the concept. If you can awaken your mind to the concept while using the skill from the talents the Arcana draws upon, you may see a better response. Let's start with the basics, shall we? I'd like you to attack the wooden dummy before you, alternating between windmill skill and the Ice Bolt skill. I'll alternate between the attacking wooden dummy with windmill and Ice Bolt. Okay. And Ice Bolt. Hey, I had a sword equipped. Apparently, you feel a response. While it's difficult to pinpoint where, or to describe the sensation, you feel a powerful energy coursing through you. That light I just saw just now, it take that as a sign you finally gained command of the Arcana. Wow, I knew you could do it, Ursulith. Now, let's take this step by step. Your ability to channel the energy of ice magic should be much better now, thanks to your earlier use of Ice Bow. In fact, why now try it? Let that ice elemental energy flow into your melee strike as you attack. The feeling is subtle, but presents as though something unknown has newly awoken within you. You have the feeling that you can wield the skill of two talents at the same time, even weaving them together in a way never before seen. Use Instill Frost on your sword you're holding to imbue the blade with ice magic. Well, I'm hoping that I don't have to do this all the time and that's just a one-time, but I don't know. And then I just windmill? I just attack? Oh, I just attack, okay. Oh, what I'm using. You begin to feel like you could use the skill directly through Arcana, as though you've always been able to use such technique. Very good. Oh ho, quite the interesting demonstration. You seem to have really gotten the hang of commanding Arcana. At this level, you ought to be able to use even more advanced skills. I don't know if Arcana I showed you will be able to channel enough power to actually facilitate that, but surely there's a little harm to attempting it. See, do you think you can perform windmill skill while mixing with ice magic? A skill that combines windmill and ice magic. Somehow a rough idea of how it would work readily floats to the surface of your mind. Now there's just the issue of actually performing it. Wait a minute. If you use Shattering Windmill while your weapon's instilled with ice magic, you should be able to further increase its destructive power. If I'm not wrong, isn't there 3? Lightning, ice, and fire? Having to switch between all 3 is going to be really annoying. Isn't that pushing things a bit too far? Is it even possible? It's not only fine, it's immediately possible. You have the capability to do it, Ursulith. Your stability, even as a first-time Arcana user, is beyond what I could have hoped for. The Arcana may or may not be able to withstand the power you need to channel to do it, Ursulith, but even should it fail, it shouldn't cause you any harm. Just relax and try. You're concerned about whether what's being asked of you is even possible, but layer reassurance convinces you to give it a shot. Use Shattering Windmill while under the effect of Instill Frost. Alright, Instill Frost. Oh no. Oh, that's pretty cool. You can feel the ice magic flowing strongly through your weapon, empowering the skill. But in that moment, you feel a strange emptiness as though you forgot something. You try to recall the Arcana and use the skill again, but it doesn't seem to readily to mind. Wait, Ursa, could it be that you no longer? Judging by your expression, you're sad something's amiss. The Arcana I showed you in my diagram was a rudimentary design, meant as more of a proof of concept. Seems you're channeling enough power through it and that it reached the limit of what it could endure. After all, even as an intangible concept, Arcana are still limited by the complexity of their design. From that, I think we can safely say that the combination of skill you just performed represents the limit of that particular iteration of design. You may have to wait a while before you're able to use that particular Arcana again to blend close combat and magic. Sounds like the Arcana you've been using for demonstration can no longer be used, and here you are starting to warm up to the idea of becoming proficient in its use. That's a shame. Worry not, I plan to enhance this Arcana crest even more. If possible, once we pass a critical juncture in the Arcana development, failure like what you just experienced should no longer occur. I firmly believe I can grow the Arcana to a point where they can be permanent part of your arsenal, Ursulith. If we overwrite the foundation of the engraved Arcana with a more advanced one, it may be possible for you to possess multiple Arcana crests concurrently. Listening to you postulate, it seems there's more research to be done. At this point, I believe it's pertinent to return to the subject of project funding. Since it appears there's nothing more to be showcased at present, shall we return to the castle? Oh, of course. I'll spend a few minutes cleaning up a bit here before I can return. Please go on ahead without me. Very well, but tell me, how did you first conceive of these Arcana? Well, at the place I used to work, or rather the place I used to work, I happened to witness an odd sight, someone grasping a sheathed sword like a wand, twirling it with flourish and casting ice bow. Well, this person managed to actually cast a spell, much to my surprise, but it may be a bit of a mess. Really got me thinking though. What if it wasn't some random flight of fancy, but a discipline unto itself? After I lost my job, I threw all my time and research into researching the exactly how feasible such a thing might be. I see. Well, you don't need to be too meticulous with your cleanup. Just do what you need to and come to so we can continue our discussion. Come, Ursula, let's return. You know, I likely did a terrible job concealing my surprise. Aw, isn't she cute? Seeing you do all of that, I want to talk to you more about it if you would. You follow Erwin to her throne room in the royal castle. Oh, there's still more. Regal air befitting the— oh, we were at that. Oh my, it's hard to believe even after seeing it with my own eyes. I think I'm still taking it all in. I've long known how great you are, Ursula, but I didn't realize you could even do things like that. Just think, if normal people can harness powers like that as well, this project will meet its objective of flying colors. I think the issue to consider now is the potential risk. Ursula, do you feel strained or at all unwell? Did you sense anything dangerous about the process? I feel fine. Nothing about the process felt like it put an undue strain on your mind or body. You shake your head to Erwin. Really? I'm glad to hear it. But you do represent a rather exceptional case. Yeah, I'm like, aren't we Malaysians? We're like different from the norms, you know, of people. So we likely can take your experience to be indicate how the common citizen might fare. But the important thing is you weren't hurt. I feel like she's playing like, maybe I'm not wrong relating the story, like we're her favorite or something, or she has a crush on us, or she just admires us, like not in any romantic kind of way. We worry about the other practitioner when the time comes. For now, my chief concern is your welfare. Aw, thank you. Anyway, it's clear that there's still much to be discussed. The safety of this Arcana system wasn't for enhancement, of course, but even if it's to improve as a satisfactory extent, making it available to all who wish to avail themselves of it's another matter entirely. I should question Layer about this. If he has already considered issues like these and built them into his model, it's less likely that he's a complete scam artist. If so, I feel more comfortable extending at least some level of trust. Aside from that, something on your mind? Actually, when I first saw him, I wasn't sure, but the longer he talks, the more I had a feeling I've seen him somewhere before. It's like he's more familiar to my eyes than the endless cavalcade of visitors we receive in the castle. But he's neither a public official nor does he hail from a noble lineage, and those account for the vast majority of those whose faces are known to me. That leaves the uncomfortable possibility that he's someone who has attempted to ambush me before. It's the only other situation I can think of where I might remember the face of someone I don't commonly encounter. Still, I'm not willing to forgo a significant opportunity to the basis of unfounded suspicion. Quickest way to have an answer is to simply ask Layer him myself. And here he comes. You ended your conversation. I have returned, Your Majesty. Very good. I have a few questions for you if you will indulge me. Of course. You mentioned that the crest in the question can no longer be used. Is it possible to find a way to increase the amount of power it's capable of channeling? It's theoretically possible, yes, but it may take time. At base level, Arcana crests are like the series of canals and locks that control cycle and regulate powers copulating that might otherwise prove volatile. By adding additional complexity to the crest and reinforcing the nodes in surge-prone areas, we should be able to increase the amount of power that can channel through a crest at a given time. I understand. It's like a safety lock, basically. Like usually you have like a limit to how much you can do before your body just gives out and you just either die or feel fatigue. It's essentially like that, basically, in a way. You know, kind of reminds me, it's like, and yeah, it's kind of like a dam in a way, maybe, where right now it's too thin, so they have to broaden it, but they're not sure if that will like overload it. That could prove a problem later on. In other words, we need to make crests more intricate, and that's what takes time. You might see, then how do you propose to get from the development state to a point where these arcanas are both stable and convenient to use? It's one thing to create a system that Ursula can use, but I want the general populace to be able to use these safely and easily. The answer to that, again, time. The Malaysian, that is, Ursula here's array possesses proficient in enough arts to technique to fill their several lifetimes. For someone like that, they already achieve a level of mastery over the powers they're trying to blend. But those who haven't reached that level, or those only proficient in one or two skill set, being combined will have to use the Arcana as a array been optimized to account for such use case. The weaker or more chaotic the flow of energy is, the more robust the channel needs to be to safely guide the flow, sending the two energies coursing through together, then apart in the right place. Without causing complication, further research will no doubt result in more complete arcana that are more better at doing this. The more perfectly formed the arcana crest is, the more stable it will naturally be. So as I indicated before, one of the more components of research will be on the reinforcement of our arcana that will have been discovered. Impressive, it'll seem you come well prepared, Layer. I understand that the point you're making, you're not there yet, but with dedicated research, given proper time and funding, the chances are favorable, yes? That's correct. Very well, then I have just one more question for you. Have we ever met before? Look at Layer. Look at that smile. He's like, I beg your pardon? Continue. I cannot explain why, but you look familiar to me. Have our path crossed before? That's a really sus look. Layer is clearly flustered, remaining silent in his shock. I'm sorry, I don't see where we would have... Oh, don't play. It's better for you to be truthful than to lie. Layer, unless you look at me and give me a clear and satisfactory answer to my question, I have little choice but to assume your intention to be hostile. To frame it with perfect clarity, hey, it's a good thing we're in front of Irwin in case any situation arises. I am implicating you of being present during an attempt on my life. No, nothing could be further from. This is a complete misunderstanding. Here's the truth. Your Majesty, I was born into a family that served one of the city's many noble houses. If you have seen me before, it was perhaps at some banquet, carrying my master coat or arranging carriage. Continue staring at Layer. You can see Layer's face fluster, practically glowing red as he hangs his head in embarrassment. My apologies, I jumped to the wrong conclusion. Worry not, you have satisfactorily allayed my remaining concern, and with that matter behind us, it is with great pride that I, Queen Irwin of Elect Kingdom, confer upon you, Layer, the provisional headship of our new ability development program. Thank you, Your Majesty. I intend to give you my full support, and of course that comes with it once I've seen some of the promise of your new system realized. For the present though, I hope you remain understanding why the role is a provisional one. Continue. You said you need to conduct more research in order to produce results, but to fund this venture directly from the Royal Treasury will be a process more complicated than you likely realize. Indeed, your initial funding shall be paid from my personal holding, as that can be assessed straight away. As for the accommodation, there's a room on the second floor of the castle currently being used for storage. I shall order it to be empty and clean, so please make use of it for your base of operation. It may not be the Royal Treasury, but I assure you, you shouldn't find my personal financing lacking. I want you to focus on shaving a pence or two from the budget sheet while I'm producing results with these arcanas. We showed all manners of miscellany to that room, and frankly it's a mess. I wonder who we can get to clean it out. It'll take several days to have it prepared for you to use, so if you'd like to take your leave, you may check back in 3 or 4 days. If you would, I'd be honored to take the cleaning duty myself. Please just show me where this room is and leave the rest to me. That's so, the room is quite spacious. Just let you know, it's the room furthest down the Great Hall on the second floor of the castle. You require a key to get in, so see the custodian about that first. My thanks, I'll go to survey it myself shortly. Again, allow me to offer my deepest gratitude for your generosity, Your Majesty. Yes, I'm expecting great things from you. Thank you for all your help as well, Ursula. I'm glad someone with such promising ideas finally applied themselves for the position. I originally called you here just to conference with you, but one thing led to another, and you ended up serving as something of a personal aid in this matter. I believe he will have need of your assistance again, and sooner rather than later. After all, his future will eventually need to be put to the proof, and when the day comes, he will benefit greatly from your help of a seasoned veteran. Though depending on the pace of the progress, perhaps that be further in the future. The room I mentioned to him stacked nearly to the ceiling with boxes and furniture, all covered with a thick layer of dust. It will take a week for one person to clean it. Everyone takes a moment to calm her nerves, taking several deep, long breaths. It feels like a cyclone has just passed through. I expect there will be some time before Layer has need to call upon you, so until then, take this opportunity to rest. Thank you again for your help. I hope I'll see you again soon. Irwin smiles, waving you as you prepare to depart. God damn, that was a long ass reading. But yeah, and with that comes to the end of the first Elemental Knight story. Although this is not part of the Elemental Knights, but it's the first one that I'm gonna get, if I can get it. So I'll probably put this with that playlist, and then for the rest I'll just make their own playlist. But yeah, we'll probably just stop here. Anyways, thanks for watching. Love you guys, stay safe, and I'll see you next time in the Arcana Elemental Knight playlist.